This is me before seeing Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. This is me after. I think I'm a changed man. Yeah, okay. Did I like this movie? Yes. Is it my favorite Christopher Nolan movie? That's an interesting question that I just asked myself. Thank you, myself. I would say at this point, it's not a question of whether or not Christopher Nolan could do it. Because he can. He could literally, I think this movie proves that he could take any story, concept, you know, book adaptation or whatever, and turn it into a film. Um, he could do basically anything. I think my favorite Chris Nolan film to this day is Interstellar, and I know a lot of people say that it's like a pretty average take. It's not blowing anybody's minds. Of course, it's a great movie. Matthew McConaughey was great. The cast in that was great. Um, I think it had its fair share of top tier A-listers as well. Obviously, Timothy Chalamet before he was even blown up, so I wouldn't even count him. Um, I have to look back at the cast. I know Matt Damon was in that as well. So it was. I think it was a great film. I think it's just more of the idea of whether or not the concept is something that intrigues me at this point, and just the idea of time traveling within space and reality. That thing is always interesting. You know, to be able to find a way to turn that into a film and make it make sense. That's one of the greatest feats I think any filmmaker could ever want to accomplish. For me personally, that's something I've always, yeah, if I wanted to become a film director, I'm fascinated with these complex ideas. Even Oppenheimer, just this idea of this guy creating a bomb that is just ridiculously, like, what was it, hydrogen bomb, nuclear bomb, whatever. I barely understood that film, so bear with me. But it's just like taking these highly complex plot points and characters and stories and concepts and just making a film out of it. I think with the Odyssey, it's so far back in time that like they just decided to use modern English to just talk. And honestly, it wasn't a problem for me at all during the entire movie. I think if anything, that's the one thing that just kind of brought me into the movie and kept me there, because I'm understanding what's going on. I'm understanding when the character says a certain thing, you know, and there's a certain, obviously context to a situation that's going on. Like I understand what he's saying, and then the undertones of that. And if it was said in yay old English, I might just be like, damn, that sounded cool. What the frick did he just say? I would have hated to just have been, Christopher Nolan shot this movie and then they just have subtitles under the film, and I'm just missing all these beautiful shots. Speaking of beautiful shots, the cinematography in this film, Hoyt van Hoytema, I think is his name. If I fuck that up, I'm never reviewing movies again. But yeah, man, he's amazing. I heard they shot this obviously in IMAX. I watched Sinners in IMAX as well. I think that was shot mostly in IMAX. I'm not sure if it was entirely, but this was, and yeah, it just the quality of the shots. Like I don't know, it wasn't necessarily graininess, but there was like this kind of like the shots weren't as bright. I want like the coloring of it, like it was kind of dimish. I don't know how to describe that IMAX look that this film had, but it added to the depth of the film to me. For me, like it was beautiful to watch. Like there'd be times where something important's going on. I'm just like, damn, this is like, bro. And I don't even know. I'm speechless. Like it was beautiful. I have no complaints about the cinematography whatsoever. They pulled it off. I heard that when they shot this, because of the IMAX cameras, I think it might run on film, right? It only runs for like 2 minutes. And like these films, these scenes can go as long as like 10, 15 minutes sometimes. Like each scene, or at least important ones. I'll say like 10 minutes. But like you're splitting these scenes into 2-minute segments because you got to reload the camera and then just take it back a couple lines back and then just keep going. I feel like for the editor, this film would have just been called The Nightmare, because it must have been crazy to... Shout out to Jennifer Lame, who edited this, because she's edited Nolan's movies in the past. She's just amazing. And then, what else, man? The casting, of course, these fucking racist dudes were just like, black people, Fuck off, bro. Lupidio, what the fuck am I talking about? Lupita Nyong'o, it's fucking amazing. Um, just like, oh my god, there's a scene in the end that stuck with me. That's haunting, where her character, and spoiler. I'm gonna say spoilers if I didn't already. After this point going on, so if you didn't see the movie, exit out this video. I promise you, you need to watch this movie without hearing what I have to say. All right, all right. So there's a point in the movie where her character towards the end is telling Tom Holland's character Telem Telemachus. Fuck it. He's telling him she's telling him something like, tell your father this, that, and this, because I'm assuming she knows that his father returned. Or maybe it's like when he returned, something like that. And she's like the wife to John Bernthal's character, or like kind of like a slave in a sense. But and she's like talking to Tom Holland's character, John Bernthal's character's behind, and she's like trying to act like, like just like the subtle acting of just like telling him something, but really like she's like on some Get Out, just like telling him like I'm so sorry for what I did, this, that, and then John Bernthal pulls her back, and like the layer of emotion she showed in that scene, it was a short scene, but just like that, bro, that was an acting masterclass. Like I'm kind of upset. I never got to work with Lupita or anything. I worked on the set of Black Panther 2. I don't even know if she was in that movie, but we were doing the Chadwick Boseman kind of like celebration of life scene, and I saw like Angela Bassett, I saw Letitia Wright, I saw all of them. Of course, Winston Duke was there. Most of the main cast was there. They're all amazing actors. Lupita is amazing, man. Hands down, she's a great actress. Um, Elliot Page was another point of contention for people who just hate trans people. I'm not surprised. She was also amazing. Like the scene she had where she's protecting Odysseus, kind of in a sense unknowingly. These, I guess, people from another country are riding on horses and come up to her, and she's like washed up on sea with this Trojan horse. I don't think she knew Odysseus was in there. Kind of find out later on she didn't. But I guess they like killed her. But she's like the reason the war ended after 10 years. So she was great. She was great. The range of emotion she showed in that one scene where it was like where they went to Hades, I think. I don't know if it was Hades, but like basically they poured out like the goat's blood and they summoned all the dead people, and it was like most of Odysseus' men who just died. Like, bro, okay, I gotta say this because that brings me to another point. I love how Christopher Nolan how he conveys the tragedy of war. Like, it's very much like a theme I could get from the film is countless lives are lost for nothing. Like, it's nothing at the end of the day. It's not worth these men's lives. They have families, like they died for what, Elliot Page's character, I think Matt Damon's character, Odysseus, told her a lie. She's like, why did you lie to me? You didn't have to lie to me. I forget what it was. I have to go back. I think at some point I have to re-watch it. But, like, it's just, you kind of realize in that one scene where all these people are kind of talking to Odysseus who died in battle, fighting for Odysseus. It's like, or fighting alongside him. It's just countless tragedies for no reason. I like how there's scenes of like when they're sailing, I guess when they leave the beach, they're like sailing, kind of trying to get back home, but they're lost. Of course, they're men lost at sea, and so every time they see a coast, they basically they go there. They're like, we're gonna load up on rations, we're gonna get food, this, that, and the other, and then we're gonna get back on our way. But of course, when they go there, they just have this sense of power because they won the war or whatnot. So it's like these men are on this high that they just keep chasing, and they're just burning and looting and pillaging these villages, these innocent people who just happen to be living there, who could have lived there for hundreds of years, for all we know. And these men are just going there and wreaking havoc, causing hell. And there are a couple times where they get their ass kicked too. Um, and that's like there are moments where I didn't feel bad. Um, but like, dude, like I think even that it wasn't. It showed all that happening, and to me, like it's interesting because I've never seen that arc kind of conveyed in a major film like this before. It's a major Hollywood project, really something mainstream like that, where it's like we glorify these people like Christopher Columbus. Obviously, that's way after Homer, but like we glorify people like that who like found America. You know, they sailed across these oceans. People who went to wars in other countries, sailed, and whatever. We glorify these people as heroes, but they're just tortured people. Who went to battle to you know, and lost a lot of men, lost a lot of friends. Family, and at the same time, they're not good people either. They're going over here raping, pillaging, murdering like people in these villages and whatnot, wreaking havoc. And it's I don't know. There's just something interesting about that. That's like what do you think Christopher Columbus did? He came to America. He committed genocide. Like he didn't find America. Like this country's built on stolen land. Like there's very much I was getting a lot of those vibes from this film. I think a lot of people who see this who want to just be mad at Nolan, it might go over their heads. That was interesting to me. I don't know if I conveyed that well enough, but it was something I was thinking. Um, what else? There's just so much in this movie that's well done. The siren scene. Oh my god, dude! Like I think that's the scene that shows the most range for Matt Damon. Um, in my opinion, like just it was so beautiful, man. It was a beautiful scene. The way it was shot. Um, I think at the end of the day, this film, I'm just going to keep yapping, but I'm going to try to wrap it up. Basically, this film is about shame and guilt. Um, it's about Odysseus, who's a man who is just grieving the entire movie. Um, After they won the war, where you think they'd be on this high, like we won, we're going to go back home to our families. And it's mm, like the things they did, it's like at what cost? And then it's like this idea of like, you're also dealing with the Greek gods. You pissed off Poseidon. There's a scene where there's this Cyclops in a cage, and it's Poseidon's son. They like basically blinded him and injured him. He damn near like almost kills them, all of them. But basically they're able to get out the way, or at least the ones who survive do. And it's like after that point, the ocean's mad at him. So like now you're getting like they're sailing in these waters, they don't know where they're going, and it's like it's just the water's violent, like they're getting fucking drowned, in their boats, and then they're like the wind is not helping, the wind's pushing them onto this land where like if they kill the cattle, like all of Odysseus's men are gonna die. And like there's a scene where he's told by I think Zendaya's character, I think Athena, um, or it might have been somebody else, but uh like you can't control your men, like he made them promise like you're not going to do that because I don't want you to die. I did all of this and all those casualties that happened, it was because I don't want all of you to die. It's either some of you die or it's all of you die. And obviously he was the one who made the choice where some of them die. People weren't happy about it, but then they break the truce and it's like they start eating the cattle, and now it's like, well, I wanted you guys to live and you just kind of fucked me over, so now I gotta watch all of you die, which is literally what happens. And yeah, I mean, years are taken off of this man's life. Like he's stuck kind of like in a limbo state, almost like Inception with Leo's character. Um, like you're just stuck in this like dream state of just like after he like washed up after all his men died, and he's stuck on this beach, this land where this god took care of him for like 7 years. And then finally he breaks out of that, and it's like, dude, it's how long have I? My son, I haven't seen my son in how long? Are they even still alive? My wife? Do I have a wife? Bro, this guy is tortured throughout the entire movie. So yeah, it's interesting. Think of it now, because all those parallels to Inception is crazy. But it's a beautiful film. At this point, I think with Chris Nolan, it's a matter of do I like the concept or not, um, and not a matter of like is the movie good, because objectively his movies are good. I will say I didn't like Tenet too much, like because I feel like with certain things that happen in the film, like particularly with some of the deaths because of how it was shot, like you're having all this happen in reverse, and it's just like, what the fuck did it? What? So is he? Am I supposed to feel sad because he's supposed to be dead, but he's alive? Like I don't know. I might need to rewatch that movie. Film people don't get mad at me, but yeah. Anyway, is it good? Yeah. Um, I wonder what inspired Chris Nolan to do this film. Was he just like, was this something he was just reading in his free time? He's like, huh, that'd make a good adaptation, you know? Um, and it's also like, last thing, it's like one of those films where you could see where every dollar went. You know, wherever they shot this, obtaining filming licenses, um, cast and crew traveling all the way over there, make sure they get there safely, making sure there's facilities there so they can eat, you know, take breaks, places where they probably can stay and sleep, you know, like I mean, there's background there, there's crew, there's all sorts of things going into it. Like, I mean, there's few scenes with CGI, but it's not the whole movie. So, um, very well done. I think for a $250 million movie that's supposed to be like that type of scale, they threw in everything that they could, that I would have thrown in if I was having that much money in my film and I could do anything. Like the aspects of weather, just like I've always wanted to see. I think that could make a great movie, just like a like just kind of following a storm, like in IMAX. Like that was just beautiful. Um, the war scenes, the fighting scenes, the stunning visuals, like it was everything that you would want a Chris Nolan film to be, a $250 million to be film. Yeah. Anyway, I'll shut the fuck up now.